This is directing for screen, and it's looking at the art of visual storytelling. You can tell a story with words. When I was going to the shop today, you won't believe what I saw. People say, "What did you see?" But when you have to use the camera, you can't, you can say it, but it's more interesting if you use videos, action to say the story instead of words. Yeah, because people remember what they see more than what they hear. If they hear and see, fine. That's using two senses, going through two senses. But it's so strong when we see things because even in our minds, when we remember memories, we remember them as pictures. Remember the how the afternoon was 10 years ago when I was a child. Um, it was raining one day. We remember those pictures. So pictures are a very, very strong way to communicate. So first of all, we have to look at how do you tell stories with pictures. Don't depend on words if you want to be a really strong director. Words are very, very good. They will help you, but tell your story with pictures. And with pictures, you can create different moods. You can see a picture and feel that, oh, this is a very sad tale. And you can see another picture and say, oh, it's a concert. Look at colors. So how you use the colors, how you play with what you see also carries emotion. So as a director, you're thinking about that from the get-go. What is my mood? What is it like? Is the hall, are there a lot of people in this hall? What kind of people are in the hall? You are thinking ahead of everybody just by reading that script. Yeah. So reading the script is part of what brings the story alive. When you've read a scene of maybe a wedding, you begin to picture, okay, what kind of wedding? Who was there? How did they dress? Is it what kind of hall? Is it a church with big windows, small windows? Um, like, can we visit some? You begin to visualize, you begin to try to bring the story alive. Even if it's just somebody going from their door to their car, you know, how do you shoot that? What is the mood? Why is that important? Why is that essential? Why do I need to tell that story of somebody going from the door to what does it add to the script? You know, Perhaps you want to show that the person is not happy walking to the car, or the person is anxious walking to the car. There must be something, a reason. So you're looking for that reason because that is what will make that picture without words. That will make that picture when the person is walking towards memorable. That might be the only thing that people get from the film. Who knows how they hurry in life? So you are also a philosopher as a director. You are looking at how you can make your messages so strong and then how you can bring it to life. So, what is your role as a director? What do you really do? We've talked about bringing your stories to life, thinking about pictures that speak, the mood, the camera, we'll get to all that. But what is your role? You're a leader. That's the first thing. You are a leader. You are leading yourself. You are leading your team. You are leading a crew. You get to a point where you have different people doing different things as the director, um, and you have to be friends with all of them. At the same time, you have to lead them, especially on set. When you're offset, you can play a role in the mud, tap each other, chase each other, but once you get to set, they should be able to know that this is the director. The director is around. Not forcefully, but in a way that they appreciate your leadership, in a way that you don't come across as power all the time. Just, and then people smile at you, do everything you want just to make you happy. You don't want that. You want to inspire creativity in them. You want them to be free and happy when they come. You want them to feel like, oh, I love being, I'm being heard. I'm being, um, accepted. I'm accepted in this place. I'm not being watched. If you create that avenue, that tension of, okay, now we're here, you know, everybody's like, oh my God. And then you create competition and people are trying to compete against each other and they are edge, any little thing, there's fights breaking off on set, then there's a problem, So it's important to lead with empathy, with care, with concern, with attention, with presence, with value. Um, you have to balance creativity with the technical. There's a lot you have to do before you shoot, before you actually say action. So much. In fact, almost 80%, if not more, is done before you actually say action. You must have done location, um, casted, rehearsed, if you have to, costumes, visit the location, get that ready, book, get license, get permission to use a place. Otherwise, you just find that you're shooting and then say, hey, stop, what are you doing? Everything is just ruined. So get the accurate permissions to do anything you want to do. Um, get everything ready, basically. Uh, the lights, the sound, you know what you have, just work within what you have. You get to a point where you don't need to worry about these things anymore. But as a director, you're a leader. You're a leader. Collaborate with the cast and crew, see what works for them, what they like, what they don't like, have a chat with them, hang out, talk about the production, try and become friends with them. You don't have to get too personal, but make sure the work is the main focus of, your discussion. Don't go to, oh, so what happened in your relationship? Uh-huh. Hmm. You don't need to go that. So I said, oh, you're fine? Oh, that's great. Thanks so much for coming. Look, this work is so, keep the concentration on the work and then seek their input. What do you think about that scene? Do you think that is very important for a director? When I was on stage, what I learned was, discipline. When the director says, everybody should sit up, maybe that's a stage discipline. But when it comes to film, it's a bit more, casual, the way you relate. So converse with the cast, with the crew, the light person. Do you think that light is too much? What do you think? So we add a little bit of diffusion or gel or something. So we make it a color. So we point it here. Not hey, point that light there. You, because two heads, three heads are better than one. Um, and then you're taking the script, you're making the script compelling. Um, you are making the script into something that people want to watch again and again and again and again. Not watch once. They tried. You want to make it a standout that people will say, play that thing again. You have to do a lot of work before just doing a time check quickly. Okay, still good for time. If you need to pause and ask questions, I don't know how you would do that, but write your questions. And just, I'll try and finish this quickly. Then we'll go to the chats so I can read all your questions and then answer them. But yeah, get ready to be a leader. That's the basic thing. Um, you need to develop a unique directorial vision. You need to find your artistic voice, your film's look and feel. You need to know what is your style as a director. Do you like doing horror? Do you always like, if you study your style, the way you direct, you begin to see things that you do every time you direct. Then that's leading you towards what your voice is. Your voice, you could say your voice is what you see, how you believe life is. I believe everybody should be equal, and everything you direct will be towards equality, a little bit of, equality inside. Some people like to talk about war stories. Some people like heroes. Some people like female. Some people like male. We're all different, but your voice is what you're drawn more towards. That becomes your signature in every work. They'll say, we know who directed this. There must always be that shot. We'll talk about shots as we go on. So find your artistic voice. Um, what is your film's look and feel? Look at all the directors. Study. You have to study directors. Pick a director and study their work. That's how you become a good director too. Look at how they light. Look at how they use pauses, space, action. Michael Bay has his own type of films. M. Night Shyamalan has his own type of films. Um, James Cameron has his type of films. Everybody have a style, you know. If you go to Africa, you have African directors as well. They have their own style. Anybody that is creating something will have a style. And styles sometimes are the same, sometimes they're similar, sometimes they're completely different. But it's a style that makes art unique. There's no one style is the best, because we're different. We all have different needs. Um, Yeah, influences, look at inspiration, studying filmmakers, crafting a signature style through cinematography, sound. Exactly, you may like your cameras to always come in slow or sharp cuts, fast. If you watch Prison Break, there's a way it was shot and edited. If you watch some other series, this is different. It's not, none is better, but different. They're unique, special in their own. So how do you use that? You can only learn that by studying filmmakers out there. So there are three basic styles of, you know, there are thousands. I shouldn't say there are three. Thousands of styles. There are new styles coming out every day. But some of the very popular ones are the auteur style, the classical style, and experimental style. The auteur style, this style is all about the director's uniqueness. Quentin Tarantino, Wes Anderson. You've seen Pulp Fiction. He has a style. He has a strong. He creates the character. They are not like normal people you see on the streets. There's something about them. The classical style sticks to traditional storytelling. This is how the story should be told. Once upon a time, must follow that. You know, it might be, it might be The Godfather. That's the style we want everything to be. It must look like the God. That's a style. It's not good. It's not bad. It's a style. And all styles are very important. You have the experimental style, which breaks all the rules. The camera will be different. The story will be different. Everything will just be different. Um, because they will just want to, they will show you from inside the watermelon. We talked about the author style, the classical style, and experimental style of directing, which is the author style is all about the director's unique vision. They know what they want to do, especially, and they create their own stuff. They make it look a certain way. The classical style, which is the traditional way of telling stories. Stories must start with this shot, must go this shot, and then they must do close up, and then do medium shots. It's, you know, classical style. Then you have experimental style. Those guys want to twist things around. They want to bounce with the actor. They want to show you what space looks like in a different way. They have a different lens. Just want to break all the rules and push the boundaries, like David Lynch. Some of these directors, just type it in YouTube, experimental directors. You'll see a lot of things online about this stuff. So the language of cinema is the power of composition, framing, and camera movement. Um, how do you compose your frame? Do you like making it a very wide shot most of the time? Or do you like, for this particular action, want to make it a tight shot so we can see their faces, their eyeball, you know? Or you want to show their mouths chewing something. You want to show the clock, the watch they're wearing. You want to do, how are you composing, framing the camera, and speaking with pictures? Remember, film is all about no words. If you can try and make your film as wordless as possible and tell your story through pictures alone, you will really, really stand out. And that will be a style, of course. And you communicate more because originally cinema had no sound. It was just camera. People would gather and watch. People just like watching each other at that time and watching time. Like, oh, this was a certain time that was captured. Wow. And those things today are golden, those time. That's why they say filmmakers are merchants of time. We always sell time by what we record, what we capture. It's one of the biggest and best jobs in the world to be a filmmaker because you are basically God. Um, you're or like a god basically. You're capturing time, you're recreating time. You can take us from now into the next 200 years. You can take us back into when it was the dinosaur age. You can play with time, you can create things. So that's why they say filmmakers play god, try to be like um, timekeepers. So this is very important for how you tell your story, how you use lighting and color. You can see in this particular shot, this could be in a studio. Everything could be CGI and all, but it has to be visualized by the director. I have to say, okay, I see streaks of light coming down. I see people standing, shadows, silhouettes. I see this, I see a cloud. You have to be able to visualize that as a director. So don't just look at the script. He fell down. All right, action, fall. Let's go. Why is he falling down? What happened before he fell? Because you want to transfer emotion through pictures. Don't be scared of pauses or silence. Those are some of the strongest parts of a story. Pause. That's when the message sinks in. So don't be scared of pauses when you talk. Just like I'm pausing now. Small, small. But sometimes you need to speed things up and move things as a storyteller, but don't forget that you're trying to pass one message and then thousands of messages around that one message. But keep your focus. If your focus is on child molestation, focus on that. Keep your story firmly on what you want, your vision, your message. Otherwise, at the end of the people will say, well, what were you saying really? Is it about no, I'm trying to. People are confused. So let's know what message this is passing across. Um, Sound design is all those special sounds, that come with the story, with the picture, that help the emotion. Sounds that create fear, like you go into a cave, you hear that sound design. The footsteps, oh, they could be fake. They use Foley sounds, call them Foley sounds. All those things come to help your picture. Because usually you record sound separately in professional film production. Then you record video. Our cameras today can capture both, but back in the day, cameras could not capture sound until much later they started capturing sound and they started having color. But initially it was just black and white. People were happy. They loved the Charlie Chaplin. All that orchestra was played by a band after the film was shot. They watch it and they play to it. So they call that a score. It takes a lot of money and a lot of time. But these days, one person with all this AI that you have out there, you can sit at home and make a film. Only you. But again, we're praying and preaching that we let artists survive, show their art, find their expression, and not be replaced by artificial stuff. Because then, a lot of people will suffer. Yeah, so let's move on. Some of the things you need to do in pre-production is get your storyboard. Very important. Break down the script, shortlist, storyboards, and visual planning. Think about how your story. This is important because don't forget this, the hardest thing for a director is to share their vision. That's the hardest thing for a director. Sharing their vision. It is so hard because people don't really easily understand your vision. They understand their vision, so they're trying to put your vision in theirs. Then they're processing, and then they start to question, like, what if? which is very important, collaboration, but create the space for that. So create the space when you're building the story. But definitely you need a storyboard as part of pre-production so you can bring them into the storyboard as well. So when you show them, like the first one you find on the top left, we have a man and somebody in the distance in a big hall. People will have a million and one ideas. But if you get this picture, people say, okay, okay, something like this, all right. And then the cameraman, the sound man, the light man, every man or woman set or everybody, the crew will be able to understand exactly what you want to achieve. The set designer will know exactly what you want to achieve. Um, the costumier will know what kind of clothes. The light person will know, like the top right, the kind of lights, how many lights are you going to use? Some of them go into real pictures. You can use real pictures this day today with um, all those tools out there. You can Google pictures, somebody falling from a car, can type that just to help people understand the story. Location scouting and production design. Look for the location that fits what you want to do. And when you look for the location, think about sound, noise, weather, access, crowd, space. So many things you think about, when you're looking for location. And production design, as you're setting up the place, how is it going to look? If you say a school, people would think about 1,000 schools, but you have to tell them this kind of school. So that's why this storyboard is very important. And then they can now feed into that and give you ideas, you know. Assembling and leading a strong create exactly. Let your team be able to communicate with each other well. So directing on set, the director is a problem solver. There will be thousands of problems. We forgot this, we left this, and everything will be coming to you. If it's just you, you might be working with time. You're thinking about the actors. You're thinking about yourself or what you have to do, what they have to do. Thinking about so many things. So you are solving problems. So the main thing is just to keep everything calm and then keep a light mood because people are tense. Let a little laughter here, slow down. Oh yeah, that's not. I like the color of the shirt. But if it's oh yeah, get ready, then there's tension. So keep it calm. Then stay adaptable and make creative decisions under pressure. You know, don't let it shake you off. Just stay calm. Say, okay, let's think about this now. And then you run it and then look for solutions. But if there's pressure, it's going to be really hard to create art. You have to manage time. Is it getting late? Guys, hurry up. Sometimes you have to slow things down. It's going too fast. So as a leader, those are all the things you check. You check the budgets. Every time we shoot, we're using a whole bowl of fruits. Can't we just use plastic for some of them, and stuff? You can suggest to the producer. Um, Instead of saying, let's use a helicopter, can we get a drone? So all that, think about the budget. If it's not your production, like they call you and they have the budget, fine. But if it's your production, think about the budget and how you can manage and energy so you don't burn out as well, sleep. So the power of editing and post-production, shaping the story in editing. After you shoot, shooting is one. Then after you shoot, you have to edit or give it to an editor. So this is where you collaborate with other editors, sound designers, and composers. And then you do the final polish, which is the color grading. And sorry, Eric, could you mute your mic?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's all coming through. Yeah, but I hope this is helping everyone. I'll try and push towards the close so we can discuss if we have to. So collaborate with editors, sit with sound designers, play it, listen to their ideas, give your own ideas. I like that. What do you think if we do this, do this? Oh, nice. Or if it's you alone, play it, edit it, There's so many editing tools out there. They're free ones, they're ones you pay a token for. I have DaVinci Resolve, but I just bought Filmora, and it's not bad. There's so many ones out there, so many. Get one, put on your laptop, shoot something. You could be maybe every time you see birds flying, you know, shoot it, edit it, you can put music into it. There's so many things you can do. But every story you make, don't forget, helps somebody watching. Every story you make is for somebody. In fact, that story can be for you as well. Because sometimes we look at our works and we get motivated. So we're telling stories for the world and we're telling for ourselves as well. And when we tell stories, it involves other people because there's no story in isolation. Stories are often adaptations or reactions to real life events. How does this person cope with cancer? At the end days, we are showing that film. So the other people that have cancer know that, okay, wow, okay, I'm happy I watched this film and it helps them through their tough times. So it's part of what we said, playing God, playing like a healer, playing. Films do a lot to people that you won't even believe. So it's not just play. If people would spend, there are films that they spend over $200 million, $200 million to shoot a film. There are films that they spend far more than that. Yet there are films that they spend almost next to nothing. So everybody's story and journey is different. But the main thing is tell your story. It could be a story of childhood that you feel can help other children. Story is important. So color grading, make sure the color suits what you want. If it's space, it has to look a certain way. If it's a wedding day, if it's winter, a snowy winter day, has to look a certain way. You can't have snow and then say you have beds everywhere. Somebody's wearing a bikini. Picture doesn't work unless you want to tell a particular story in that direction. So there are two types. There's fictional, and then there's avant cinema verite and mise en scène. Yeah, or mise en scène. Different ways to call it. My accent is a little bit different. Mise en scène or cinema verite or cinema verite, whichever one. Um, but cinema verite is where you have the real stuff like documentaries, it's telling a real story, you know. And maybe it's even real life. Maybe they're recording it as a person is eating, walking, going to work. There's nothing set up. It's just capturing it. Somebody's fighting, you quickly bring up that cinema verite or verite. That's real. But when you have to create it, like, okay, let's plan, like two people are fighting. Yeah, that is in a sense on. You have to think about the other people around. You are creating it. It's fictional. So those are two broad um, types of filmmaking. Um, but mostly for this one, we're talking about the set on where you have to create stuff. If you have to do a documentary of real life, maybe somebody going to school, documenting their lives, like social media, you can also do that. But then you are looking at how to create plots, how to tell the story. My phone just dropped. Yeah. You're looking at how to arrange the plots so that you can tell the story effectively. And what are plots? What happens? What happens? What happens? He goes to school, he fails. Um, this person got sacked. Um, this person broke up. Different scenarios. Which one do you play first? Is it the sack and broke up? How do you place so that it will create that effect? You know, um, and this person got married, or these people got married, and then one person got really sick, and then one person started doing something else. Which one comes first? Do you want to tell it logically, or do you want to make it like a complex plot? So instead of showing they got married first, You can show they're fighting first, and then you back up to when they got married. It creates a different feel in people who are watching. So that is how you arrange the plots in the story. As a director, you can do that as well. You can say, I feel they should go to church first, before that fight or something. I feel something must, and don't forget, film is all about emotion in motion. It is emotion in motion. It's about a certain feeling that is doing something. Otherwise, your film is boring if it's not doing anything. Sorry, just quickly checking my phone. Yeah, yeah. So it's emotion in motion. Um, if if there's a feeling of fear and there's nothing happening, it's not doing anything, then it's a static story. Something must happen in the story to engage people because everybody will be like, he's afraid, he's going into the garage. What's he going to see? And then he stops. Move now, people want to see the next thing. So film is for your story to also stand as a director, it must have motion, emotion, and motion. Um, so inspirational takeaways for aspiring directors: dare to take risks and push creative boundaries. Don't feel, no, I can't do that. Try it. Give it a shot. See what happens. Um, the light, we can't, normally the light is, try it. See what it looks like. It won't hurt. You can just dim the light, take the shot, pull the light back, take the shot, and then in post, you look at both and decide in editing. So if you have any ideas, take it on set while you're shooting. Somebody may come and say, I remember when we are directing one of our series in House 49, Melissa was like, why don't we try this? And I was like, that's a good idea. Yeah. And then we take that on board and then we use that. Or sometimes it might be, that's a great idea, but if we do that, this. So, okay. Yeah. So that's collaboration on set, creative collaboration. Talk with your crew, especially with Eric when we work. We say, Eric, what do you think? Should we take this? Sometimes I will say, no, I think we should do it this way. But yeah, take the shot. Sometimes he has his own ideas. Yeah, take it. When we get to post, we'll see it. So all ideas, give it a chance. Yeah. If it's outright not going to work, then maybe not, you know. But if it's to add to the idea, think about it and say, yeah, but always thank the person that gave you the idea because they are offering something they could have kept to themselves. So suggestions are gifts that people give in a creative process. Okay, learn from failures and embrace challenges. If you tried it before, it didn't work, learn from it. Don't live by it. Learn from it and move on to the next project. Oh, I shouldn't put the light was too much in that area. Okay. Don't dwell on it. Oh, I'm a bad director. I can't direct the light. Nah. Learn from it. Next time, oh, I remember the last time. Dim this light this time. Reduce it. Oh, the audio was low that time. Increase the mic this time. So always assess your work every time you do something. Watch it. People will say, "Oh, wow, super," but but still assess your own work. Sit with it and think about it. Was it really what I wanted? Watch it, and say, okay, next time I know what to do. And that is how you improve. Yeah, because there's no way you will start today and just win Oscar. You have to grow in the work. You have to take time. You have to mature your art as well. So learn from your failures. Embrace challenges. If it's tough because you are the one that can do it. Yeah, and it's tough because it's now time to go to the next level. If it's too easy, anybody can do it. Or if it's tough, it's the challenge. And if it came to you, if it's your challenge, then there's something to learn from it, you know, so that you don't lose that opportunity of growth. Challenges bring opportunities for you to grow. Um, so keep evolving, keep experimenting, keep storytelling, keep keep coming up with new ideas every time, um, that will help the world think in a better way. Uh, keep trying to tell stories that will help people see life differently, and maybe even you see differently. You know, all your stories is for the consumer. Your story is not for yourself. If not, you will just tell yourself and sleep. But when you make a story, you are telling it for the consumer. So think about who will receive your story. If you are doing a children's story, think about the children before you start visualizing telling the story. What is appropriate to put in this kind of story? If you are doing it for men, think about what issues men would face. If you are doing it for women, think about the issues. Um, if you are doing it for the LGBT community, think about that. If you're doing it for a diverse, inclusive set, think about that. Think about who your story is for. If you're doing it for people who are gender, fluid, think about that as well. Investigate and research. Get to know their ways of life. Get to know their thoughts. Get to know their direction. Get to know their experience as a human being. Don't be biased about it. Like, no, I don't, but I have to do it. Oh God. You have to like what you want to do. You have to use it as an opportunity to learn. So maybe when you learn about it, maybe you'll be able to say, oh, interesting. That's another side of life. And then you judge less. So art can also change you, the art maker. So don't block yourself to change. Be ready to change every time you go into a process to create art, to create film. Um, because you're telling a story. And the story can help you too. So, closing thoughts, directing is the art of emotion and vision. Talked about that. Emotion, vision. Vision is what you want to achieve. I want to help so what is happening in war zones so that leaders can know that bombs are not what we should invest in. You know, you are telling that story for that reason. Don't think your story is just I just you should you are telling the story to change something. It's functional, you know. I'm telling this story to show that people should rest. Because if they don't rest, it can lead to heart attacks, it can lead to issues. And sometimes you don't tell stories until you experience it or until someone close to you experience it, then it becomes more, stronger. Some artists are fighting for different ailments because they have that ailment as well. You know, people who have cancer will fight for cancer, sufferers. People who've been through domestic violence will do stories about domestic violence, how the man or the woman or how in a relationship you should respect each other, you know. Um, Teachers, how a teacher can actually destroy a student's life if the teacher doesn't know the weight of what they say. You know, when you're passing across information, you might also pass across life destructive things as well. So be careful as a teacher. You're trying to tell your story to change something. So every great film begins with a director who dares to dream. It's possible. You can do it. You know. Um, okay. I'll leave about maybe 10, 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes for questions. So every film starts with an idea and a director who dares to dream. Stay inspired, keep creating, and never stop telling stories. All right. It's my end of my slide. Um, and we can ask questions if we want to. I hope that was a bit helpful. I hope, yeah, I hope you're able to pick one or two things from it. Um, but if you have questions, this is when you ask the questions or forever hold your peace. You can send me text anyway if there are things you want to talk about. Yeah. Um, I think the most important thing is being a good leader. If you're a director, that's one of the most important things. Yeah. So, um, again, any questions? This is just a scratch. It's not the alpha and omega of directing for screen. This is just a scratch on the topic. There are many resources out there that you can also use to boost your passion in directing. There are books, there are videos, there are podcasts. YouTube has tons of them um, for you to understand how you can get deep in this. And it can be very rewarding. It can pay a lot. Directors make a whole lot of money, because they're like presidents, they're like governors, not the title, but because they have power. Your films can actually make people start thinking a certain way. It can change the way the school operates. One small film can make them call a board meeting and say, look, this is that we have to make a change. You know, we didn't know this until we saw that film. So your films can be very powerful. Your films can improve the life of your gender. If you feel your gender is going through issues that people are not aware of, do a gender-based film. You're telling a story. But use some of the tips and tricks we've talked about. Um, and many more out there that you discover. Remember, you can push boundaries, can experiment. Yeah. Okay, I think there's a question. What do you do when you're on set and your actors feel like you're taking the filming process seriously? Then again, they cannot see what you are seeing. Before you go into the process, make sure you're on board together. That's a very good question. It's like when energies don't match, and it's like you are the one like so then let's just do it, you know. So that means in the casting process, don't cast based on sentiments. I like this person. I just like them. Can they do the job? Because don't forget, your story that you are telling is different from the relationship you have. They're two different things. Yeah, you can't say, I love my partner. My partner was acting. Now, partner is like, I have no time. I'm a scientist. I have to go to the lab. No, this, I cast for who knows, who wants to do it, who shares the same vision. So throw it out there. So don't be limited to your circle of friends unless they say they want to do it. So get people that really want to do it. Do an audition, do a casting call, send a message out there. It could be on WhatsApp, it could be on anything, anyway that you can reach out to people and get people who can be on board with you. So they are the ones that will be saying, let's do this. So you won't have the problem of energy. But if you call your friends, and you're trying to save cost and or because you just like this person, it's not their vision. The story is not their vision. They don't care about children being sold or trafficking. They don't care about that. It's you that care about that. So look for people that share your vision, who want to tell the story with you before you start. So on set, it will be fun. It's so much fun. I've had those productions before that. Director, what do you think? What if I fall down, put my legs in the air, and everybody will laugh and say, yeah, try it. Then we shoot it, and then maybe it's what the audience will like the most. But if your people are bored, Mm-mm. The selection, that means maybe you force them into it. Yeah. Yeah. So think about that. Work based on merit. Yeah. But again, also think about your own process, that your process is not stressful. So plan it in a way that you can release them quickly. Yeah. Otherwise, you will lose the creativity in them. People are bored when they are repeating the same thing. Action, let's do it again. So let's do it again. So unless you are doing it again to get aspects of the shot. Again, this is why storyboards are very important. Because with storyboards, you know what you are going for. I just need I just need you to stand by the window according to this storyboard. Take the shots and then you move to the next shots. Not like you're saying, let's see you come in and then you sit down, then you stand and go to the window. That's a lot. So shoot to your storyboard. And then they can be carried along. Before you start, we're shooting this. Okay, okay. So that helps to start. But without a storyboard, trust me, it's a bit difficult to shoot. Yeah. So check your process as well that you're not boring them or just making them feel like they're toys now. Can use them. Yeah. So they're also part of the storytelling process. Yeah, they're very important as well. So, but that's a beautiful question. Any other questions before we wrap it up? Concerning sound design and music as storytelling tools, where can I get sounds and music to add to film? Um, um, you can get from just going to Google, just type um, free sounds for film. A lot of them will pop up. Um, in the past, what I have used, I've used YouTube Audio Library. I've used I've used quite a few stock footage. I've used Pexels. I've used on Splash for pictures. Pixels, you can get videos and pictures. YouTube Audio Library, some of them need attribution. They need you to write, give them credit. Some don't. Irrespective, I try to give credits to all the videos I make. If I'm just doing short videos, if it's film, of course, you have money to pay somebody to create music. But if not, you have to go to places like artists.io. I think that's another one. Um, I've used story blocks, and when they started, it was just story blocks. Then they changed. They have audio blocks, I think, now. So you can go to iTunes. You can buy songs. If you have enough resources, you can actually buy songs at places you can buy songs on the net. Just say buy free film songs on Google. If you use ChatGPT or any other device that gives ideas, you can pop the question, where do I get la la la? You have it just popping out. Some of them you have to subscribe, some are free. But the thing is to know where to go. So those are some ideas, some places to go. But you can find lots more online. Yeah. But just ensure that you have the license for any music you're using. Unless they say free. If not, get a license. So we don't both go to court. Yeah. But thank you. Those are beautiful questions. Any more questions? Questions going. Okay. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for coming to the little workshop. I hope that it was helpful in some way, and I hope you keep telling stories that will inspire us, inspire a better community, inspire a better society, better group, a better church, a better anything that you're writing about. Remember, you're writing it for people, so it must reflect people and people's experience in there. Um, and be true to yourself. Be a leader. Remove bias, any bias from anything. Love people. Work with people. Collaborate. Don't see suggestions as a threat. Suggestions are gifts. Um, yeah, I think those are some of the ideas. Um, reach me if you have any more questions. Can text. Uh, I'll try and put this on YouTube as well so people can watch and gain from it. But thank you so much for joining. And if there's no other question, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, you too.
Bye bye.